Let us continue from where we left off. We're going to read the next chapter of this book. It's called Bound to Blood and Moonlight. It's a good werewolf billionaire romance. As always, I read for you, and you enjoy the plot. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Let us read. Chapter 9. Bloodline Lies. Damian opened the tall, carved doors of the Elder's Hall with deliberate force. The ancient wood resisted on iron hinges, then finally yielded. The sound echoed into the vast chamber. He entered wearing a mask of controlled authority. But the atmosphere inside stripped it thin almost instantly. The air felt cold, stagnant, hostile, like judgment given form. 12 elders sat arranged in a rigid semicircle of stone chairs. Their faces were hard, expectant, their attention fixed on him as though the verdict had already been decided. Damian's shoulders tightened as unease crept through his composure. The conflict was already active. This was not a discussion. This was an accusation. Cold drafts slid along the stone floor. They brushed the back of his neck, carrying the physical sensation of disapproval. He walked toward the center of the hall at an unhurried pace, refusing to show urgency or weakness. As he passed the last chair on the right, an elder murmured something under his breath. Sharp, brittle, not meant for Damian to hear. The hall felt less like a place of governance and more like a waiting ground for execution. Before Damian reached the empty space reserved for him, Marcus stepped out of the semicircle. Marcus extended a hand in greeting, his expression polite, composed. Damian stopped 3 full paces away. He ignored the gesture entirely. The forced civility only sharpened Damian's suspicion. Marcus was too relaxed, too confident. His tailored suit and crisp cologne cut through the dusty air of the hall, like a deliberate insult. The elders observed without reaction. Damian knew this hearing existed because of Marcus. A formal concern had been filed, his bond with Liora framed as a threat to pack stability. Marcus withdrew his hand slowly. His smile widened just enough to feel wrong. You've complicated everything, Marcus said lightly. Before Damian could respond, Elder Harvin rose from the central chair. The elder was ancient, his presence dense with ritual authority. He lifted his staff and struck it once against the stone floor. The sound cracked through the chamber, sharp, absolute. It silenced every breath. The vibration traveled through Damian's boots and into his bones. The restrained tension inside him flared into open anger. This was the real conflict. Pack law versus prophecy. Mate bond tradition versus the fragile illusion of stability the elders clung to. They believed Liora's existence threatened the Alpha line itself. Harvin's voice was dry, unyielding. You will do what is necessary, Alpha. We have given you time. His gaze locked onto Damian's. Reject her today, or we will. Damian forced calm into his posture and met the elder's stare. I understand the pack's concerns, he said evenly. The bond is manageable. The lie tasted metallic on his tongue. Fear cracked open beneath his authority, sharp, undeniable. He knew he was losing control, over the bond, over the situation, over himself. His wolf reacted instantly, snarling at the falsehood. The sound escaped his throat, low, raw, unmistakably inhuman. Harvin's eyes narrowed. He sat back slowly and murmured, just loud enough to carry more. Your wolf disagrees. Marcus stepped forward again. This time, he placed a thin file onto the stone table with deliberate care. The soft scrape of paper against stone sliced through the silence. Damian's dread tightened into suffocation. The label burned into his vision. Omega, bloodline anomaly. A term tied only to historical catastrophes. Marcus leaned closer, his smirk confirming everything Damian feared. Ask her who she really is. The weight of responsibility crushed down on Damian's chest. Control, duty, leadership. He had to stop this before Marcus tore the pack apart with half-truths and manipulation. He began the rejection ritual. The formal words scraped from his throat like torn fabric. He didn't make it past the second phrase. A deep, overwhelming pressure slammed into the hall. The floor shook violently as magic surged through the stone itself. Walls groaned. Power, ancient and uncontainable, activated. Marcus staggered back. The words died in Damian's mouth. Panic surged as he realized he physically could not continue. An elder to the left clutched his chair, eyes wide with terror. She cannot be rejected, the elder gasped. The tremors faded. Silence remained. Suffocating. Damian's heart pounded hard enough to steal his breath. Fury ignited, incandescent, focused entirely on Marcus. Marcus leaned in close, exploiting the elder's shock. "If you won't break the bond," he whispered, "I will." Damian spun. Restraint snapped completely. The threat to Liora erased everything else. "Touch her," Damian growled, "and I'll end you." Liora closed the heavy archive door behind her. The ancient lock clicked shut with unnerving finality. Her purpose, learning the truth about her father, kept her moving. But the stillness of the records room made her resolve sour into unease. She felt watched. Marcus's presence lingered like a stain, even in his absence. Her fingers closed around the bronze pendant at her throat. It pulsed once, cold, sharp, against her skin. The air smelled of old paper and ozone, charged, restless. Somewhere deeper between the shelves, something buzzed faintly. She moved past rows of scrolls toward the older storage, heavy canvases stacked upright, forgotten. From the back of the third row, she pulled one free. Dust drifted as she angled it toward the dim light. The painting showed two figures. One had been violently erased, claw-like gouges shredding the canvas where a face should have been. Without thinking, she touched the damaged area. It was warm. Her unease sharpened when she turned the frame over. A brittle label clung to the wood. She wiped away dust until the faded words emerged. Lycian Forbidden Line. Her breath caught. The term was infamous, associated with unstable power and erased bloodlines. It matched the file Marcus had used against Damian. "Dad," she whispered. "What were you?" She set the canvas down, her thoughts spiraling, when fear struck hard. Someone else was in the room. No movement, just the certainty of shifted weight. Then a slow, deliberate creak of floorboard echoed between shelves. Not human. She backed away, clutching the painting. Her heel caught on something soft hidden against the stone wall. A thin gray folder, deliberately concealed. Inside was a grainy photograph of her father. Stamped beneath it, Subject 12, her chest constricted. Beneath the stamp, a handwritten note read, "Do not allow lineage to continue." The paper trembled in her grip. Then the air went completely still. The entire archive vibrated as power surged outward. Shelves rattled. Documents slid free. Her pendant heated rapidly, glowing as a sharp ringing pierced the room. "Shared, distant, unmistakable," she gasped. Her voice vanished beneath the ringing. She stood frozen, clutching the evidence, when soft footsteps rustled behind her. Robes brushed stone. An elder stood there, close enough to make her heart seize. "She isn't what you think she is," he said quietly. Liora spun. "Who?" He was gone. Only cold air remained.